Remember those big banks that you and I bailed out back in 2008? These same banks continue to sucker people back into these markets. These same banks continue to sucker people back into the Ponzi scheme. Let me ask you this. Do you truly believe that these markets are safe? The Dow Jones was down 473 points today. Another reminder of just how fragile these markets really are. It shocks me every time I think about it, how people have forgotten about 2008, not that long ago, and how many people are back into these markets. These people, again, trusting the same people that robbed them, trusting the same financial institutions, the same banks, and again, setting themselves up for another wealth transfer where they're going to lose and where these financial institutions and these banks are going to win. It just really blows me away how people forget, how trusting people are, and how brain dead so many people truly are, that they cannot see what's happening, especially to the people who already went through it and got fleeced and robbed once. They're getting ready for the second fleecing. This is going to be Wealth Transfer 2.0. It's going to make the first one look like romper room. Yet these people continue to entrust the same institutions that robbed them. I truly believe that the biggest wealth transfer the world has seen is on its way. It's coming. And there have been so many warning signs that there's going to be no excuse. People who are watching this right now, who are awake, are not going to be shocked when it happens. Yes, it's going to be horrific. It's going to be mind-blowing. But who can really say that they're going to be shocked? Who's going to say that they didn't think this was going to happen? The warning signs, we see them on a daily basis. Everybody out there watching this, be cautious and make sure you're preparing, because you know exactly what's going to happen. Question, please comment down below. As negotiations come to a halt with China, what is this going to do to the markets? I truly believe we're going to see big hits if we don't come to an agreement with China. I believe we're going to see big hits in the markets. We can only have so many corporate buybacks. We can only have so many quantitative easings. We can only print so much money, and we can only have interest rates so low. What is going to propel these markets to go higher? What's going to propel these markets to move ahead without China? We've been told for months and months that negotiations were going well, and this continued to propel these markets. And now Trump is threatening to hit China with a 25% tariff, and we are seeing a slowdown in negotiations. What is going to happen to these markets? I truly believe they're going to get hit hard if we do not come to an agreement shortly with China. What do you think is going to happen? Please comment down below. Personally, myself, I think this president should hit China with tariffs. I think he should raise the tariffs from 10% to 25%. And show China that America is done being ripped off and taken advantage by them. We finally have somebody in office that may do this, who's showing some backbone. If he actually steps up and hits China with a 25% tariff, that is really going to affect probably the entire world. It's going to affect the markets. It's going to affect the economy. It's going to affect China. And I truly believe it has to be done. Most people don't understand that America loses $300 billion a year in intellectual property to China. They're robbing America of technology and taking it. And we've allowed this to continue, and we've turned a blind eye to it. And as long as the markets are going up and they continue to move forward, nobody cares. But you're going to care if you don't have a country 10 or 15 years down the road, as China now is trying to compete, their currency trying to compete with the US currency, the yuan, as you have a country like China hoarding gold on a daily basis. Okay, they know what's coming. They're setting America up. And if we do not stand up to them and stop this right now, China is going to be the next superpower. They have the biggest military in the world. They have the second biggest economy in the world. They're the number one manufacturer in the world. They have the biggest bank in the world. So the writing is on the wall here, folks. If we do not do something about China right now, we're going to pay the biggest price, and that's going to be our status as a world superpower. We no longer will be the world superpower. China will be, as their technology now is surpassing ours. Their military power is surpassing ours. Their economy, everything is surpassing America. And it is now time. We've gone beyond the time to stand up to China. And hopefully this president will do that. America has been robbed hand over fist by China. They've been made a superpower because of decades of corrupt politicians which sold you and I out, sold our secrets out, sold our technology out to China. And now I truly believe it is not Iran, it is not Russia. I believe it is China, which is the number one enemy to America. It is the number one enemy to our future, to our safety, to our economy, to our military, everything. China is the number one enemy to America. If America gets into a full-blown trade war with China, the markets are going to get rocked. But here we are at a crossroads as a country. Do we care more about the stock market, or do we care more about the future and safety of America? I truly believe that we're going to have to feel some pain. I don't think that we're committed to the stock market. We have got to commit to the United States of America, to our sovereignty, to our safety, and to our future. And I believe nothing else matters. We've got to stop paying so much attention and putting so much into the stock market. We've got to start really thinking about the future and the direction that this country is going in. The stock market's not going to matter if we don't have the world reserve currency, if we don't have the strongest military, if we are not the world superpower. None of this is going to matter because China is going to be the world superpower. It's going to have the world reserve currency. It's going to have the control. So we have a serious decision to make here of what's more important, the stock market or the future of America. We have so much going on other than just China and a trade war. We have rockets being shot from Gaza into Israel. We have our aircraft carrier, the Abraham Lincoln, heading into the Middle East as a warning to Iran. We have Iran threatening to shut down the Strait of Hormuz, which most of the world's oil travels through. China, being the biggest buyer of Iranian oil, is just not going to stand by. We now have U.S. ships in the China Sea. And so we're getting really close to seeing some escalation. We're an event away from something happening. And these are really getting to be serious times, just not economically, but militarily. When you have so many countries now in the world involved with what's going on. We have other flare-ups. We have a government uprising in France. We have the government uprising in Venezuela. Remember, China and Russia and Iran are in these Latin countries. They're down there. They're in Venezuela. You have Iranian Hezbollah in Latin America right now controlling most of the drug trade down there. And while all this is going on, we continue to have our border sitting wide open. And, again, this is another reason why I believe it is so important to be preparing economically and physically for your own safety, for your financial safety and for your physical safety. You need to be preparing. There are so many things happening. Things are escalating at a very fast pace right now. And I truly pray that cooler heads will prevail. I really do pray that we don't see anything flare up. I do not want to see America getting sucked into a war. And I really, truly hope cooler heads will prevail here. But most of all, I believe America has stepped away from God. We need to get our own house in order before we can get anybody else's house in order. There are groups here in America. There are cells here in America that came from very bad places that are here to do very bad things to America and the people of America. They're here right now while we are having flare-ups with Russia, China, and Iran. Just think that if things started happening outside of America, and it doesn't take a person that really has to think too far outside of the box to think that if things started happening outside of America, how quick things could start happening right here inside of America when you have groups, cells like this here right now in America. We need to be paying attention to the signs right now that we're seeing take place, because they're warning you and I that things are near. I wanted to make this video today because I had to share with you that what we are witnessing take place across the globe right now, we have never seen these type of events take place, at least in my lifetime, maybe not in the history of America, where we have so many countries now heating up, where we have the possibility of war, a world war taking place, during a time where we have a propped up economy, a propped up stock market, a propped up US dollar. And while all these events are unfolding, we're seeing government uprisings in France, in Venezuela, other parts of the world. And so on top of this global slowdown, we have this global heating up of war. And I don't think there's ever been a time in history where all this has been taking place at the same time with so many countries and so many superpowers. And it is another reminder of why you need to be prepared, why you need to be your own central bank, why you need to have some of this gold, silver, and why you really need to be diversified. Have some cash put away, have some hard assets. If you can afford land, that's great. The more self-sufficient you are, the better. Unfortunately, so many people are reliant on the government, they're reliant on the financial institutions, and these are the people who I believe are really going to pay the most severe price. The best advice I can give today, and this is just me thinking out loud, please comment down below, but I believe the more self-sufficient you are physically, the more self-sufficient you are financially, the better off you are. But we are witnessing major events unfolding around the world. Things can heat up, and we're talking about black swan events. If a war breaks out, if shots are fired, we have groups here in America, anything is possible, and you must be prepared. Be prepared for a changing environment. Too many people are reliant on the TV and the system, and they are not prepared for a changing environment. And these are going to be the people that are going to be the most dangerous because they are unprepared. These are the people that will lash out. These are the people that are going to come take your stuff. And this is why you must be prepared physically and financially. Make sure you guys have all your bases covered. Do the best that you can. There's no excuses to not be buying some silver at under $15 an ounce. SD Bullion, link down below if you need to get some silver. They've been fantastic to deal with. And again, make sure you're praying for this country, make sure you're praying for this president, and make sure you're walking closer to God as an individual. So make sure you're preparing mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. Things are changing, and it's coming to America. Get ready.